And lastly, we have Dr. Hassan Mushtaba. He is head of School of Computing at FAST at Islamabad. So we already know that Dr. Saab have got some good audience available in here as well. Okay, so today what we want to talk about is the data to decisions, how data can help us in making effective decisions, integration of AI and big data for Pakistan's statistical future. So to start, I would like to bring into the focus what's happening in our digital horizon in the current age. If you look at our digital horizon, you would feel that the amount of gadgets, the amount of devices are overwhelmingly available across all domains of our life. Some of them are known to us and some of them are so hidden to us that we don't even realize that they are there. All of such devices are generating huge amount of data. Just to bring into the perspective, I would like to comment on one of the factors that currently in the world there are around 5.4 billion mobile users approximately. And this number is increasing almost every day. And it is anticipated that this number is going to reach somewhere around 6.5 billion users by 2030. So if you consider this amount of small handy devices available to humans who are performing all their necessary daily digital tasks on those machines, which actually means that they are generating huge amount of data. So people are using their banks, they are using apps for trading, they are basically using social media for interaction and communication, and so many other things are being done on the apps. I mean, like gameplays, and they are watching YouTube videos, which is of immense quality and quantity. I mean, the amount of data that is available it is not possible for one human life, one human being to ingest all of that data within their lifespan. So the amount of data that is being generated on YouTube, as a matter of fact, you cannot watch all of that. 90% of the data that is being generated by different devices is not being able to, we are not being able to process that. Just to bring in a bit more of a focus, as a matter of fact, Twitter has got around 650 million users, whereas 200 to 300 users are daily active on that platform. So you can imagine what's happening there. What are they doing there? They are talking about whatever they want to say, about the services that they are experiencing, about the products that they are using. So all that information is there for various organizations to ingest and use it. This also brings us to the point that all this data is multidimensional. Everyone in this whole tier, they are looking at this data from their different perspectives. So the common people look at the data from their own perspective, whereas the organization feel that this data is not only some raw data, but they want to extract knowledge out of it. So what we have seen in the last few decades, that the evolution of e-commerce brought us to the point where now the companies already know what trends are there in the data, how people are going to buy things, what products they basically favor, what type of things they favor. And based on that information, they can predict, which basically means huge amount of profits. So the private sector, I would say, industry learned their lesson very quickly. Now, the missing block in this picture is, for the last few years, the government sector has also realized, for the last few, you can say the last decade, the government has realized that we need to invest into this area and bring this huge amount of data into some context, and we need to use that for basically deciding how to dish out the services. So as we are right now sitting here on the general invitation of Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, from my previous experiences, what we know that they conduct huge amount of surveys, they gather data, they used to process it and run all the basic statistical models, and they used to infer what is that data telling us. But because of the fact that the new era has already brought some amazing technologies, tools, some latest AI and machine learning and big data, not only technology, but the how to handle the data, how to bring it on board, how to process it, this opens up a new debate. So this is the context why we are sitting here, and this amazing panel will be sharing their thoughts and comments on how we can harness this energy, how we can harness this potential of data that we have already got, and how to convert it into something that can help the government sector to grow into providing, becoming a better service provider. So I will ask our worthy panelist, Dr. Akif, to please come onto the stage and share his comments and deliver his keynote speech, and then we can continue with the question answer session. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you very much for Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Before starting my formal keynote, मैं अपने उस्ताद मोहतरम सरवर गोनल साहब से परमिशन लेना चाहूँगा. सर के साथ 20 साल पहले मैंने अपने करियर का स्टार्ट लिया इन खैबर पख्तूनख्वा व्हेन सर वाज फर्स्ट डायरेक्टर आईटी ऑफ केपी. उस टाइम से अब तक सर के साथ ही हम एसोसिएटेड हैं. तो सर के सामने आईटी की बातें करना, डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की बातें करना ऐसा ही है जैसे सूरज को चिराग दिखाना. लेकिन सर ने ही इनवाइट किया, तो सर माजरत के साथ अगर आप अलाउ करें तो मैं वो स्टार्ट कर लूँ सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. So today we will be discussing this data decisions, integrating AI in big data for Pakistan's statistical future. So this is a very common perception about the government, that government we tech people are not very well aware of these technologies, and we are not using much these technological intervention in our government processes. So this is a common perception of a common person. So I'll be going through my experience by working with the government of KP, federal government and other provinces, and what are the different success stories that we have achieved over the last many years, and how data has been this critical point and important asset for the government itself, for the decision making, for the policy creation, so on. So it's the sequence of the presentation with data dynamics powering public sector progress. So the entire presentation will be in the purview of the public sector understanding about the data and how we are using it. Global linking and breakthrough, bridging the gap. This is one of the, obviously there's some opportunities and there is some obviously risk associated with data, identifying the missing pieces, and obviously strategies. What is the strategy for the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics and generally for the government of Pakistan, and how we can take a better use of the data for our policy making and for public service delivery, for the governance and for security. And finally, getting the stage for the dynamic panel discussion so that they can continue the keynote too. So this is a 30-second snapshot of the internet in the real time. So you can see this is a data generated with, this is just a 30-second global snapshot. So a huge number of data, is the worthy moderator obviously talk about the number of devices. So in this 30-second, you can see a lot of tweets are going on, a lot of YouTube videos are being watched. There are LinkedIn posts is going on, there are shares going on, there are WhatsApp conversation and so on. So in an entire 30-second, huge global transactions are going on with the same in the context of government as well. So in government, obviously, not as much as compared to the private sector, not as compared to, I will not say the data generated by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics is equivalent to the data generated by X or Facebook or Instagram, but in the government, we are creating a huge amount of data per day, a huge amount of data. And these are the different sectors that we are collecting data, we are obviously cleansing data, we are taking decisions in the performance management, in performance management, in public service delivery, public finance management, government operations, governance, disaster preparedness, public safety, transportation, environment, IT, energy, land revenue, taxation, education, health. So these are different sectors in which we are collecting data on daily basis, and it's a huge data. Just one system of Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, they have geotagged 7.2 million of economic establishment by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Same, if I give an example of government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, so we have around 450 databases at all, and we are collecting around 5.5 million of data sets across the government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in these areas. So obviously data is the new oil, and the intelligent information is the new currency. Obviously data without use of artificial intelligence is obviously underutilized. I'll be coming to that point as well. So every government organization which have this data-driven capability, which have this data management capability, data governance capability, they have the prediction capability, they will be ahead of organizations that are not using the data in a proper way. These are some of the real case studies that I will be presenting, and these are the systems. There's a system generated. These are the dashboard of the systems. The first one is Pakistan Spatial Insights. It's an entire digital platform where the huge data is being collected, and it's displayed on your dashboard. You can see there's a district-wise spatial analysis. You can see the boundaries. You can see the facilities in it. So it's called entire Pakistan. This is developed by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Then there's a flood damage and report, and this is one of the system developed by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, was very extensively used in the recent flood in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in Punjab and other provinces as well. And this system enabled the governments how to respond, how to facilitate in the relief activities, and how to conduct the post-ops. So this is the real-time dashboard that every block, the affected block has been geotagged, how many people are out there, how many rescue operation needs to be done, what are the NFI, non-NFI items are required for the relief activities. So these are the one of the very extensive system, and it aired a lot. And just one example, I just in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, since we have a very good system that developed with the consultation of Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. So when the recent flood came into the Bunair and the Sawat area of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, so within 2 days we initiated our very targeted relief operations in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa due to this dashboard. Okay, I'm going. Sorry. Again, this is a COVID, obviously this is a COVID data portal where the entire smart lockdown, the entire lockdown operation are done through the systems, and every block every patient has been geotagged, and then obviously the spread was calculated again. This is a dashboard that we done in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. In the COVID, we have around 170 facilities, health facilities in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So we was tracking this entire situation, that what are the bed occupancy, what is the ventilator occupancy, what is how much ICU beds are available, what are the availability of stock and medicine and other things. So this was the real dashboard that we use in the COVID. And I remember the day when in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Peshawar, if anyone visited Peshawar, with the dashboard, we see 99.9% of occupancy in all hospitals in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and then we diverted the patient to the nearest other districts due to the availability. So this helped us a lot in the COVID operations. Similarly, this is again the COVID bed occupancy. This is a very beautiful system by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, where every day the prices across the, Pakistan has been collected, and you will see that for instance there's a spike on tomato prices. So in an entire province, in entire Pakistan, you will see the price differential what are the issue, what are the demand supply issues. So all these are reflected in that dashboard, and you can see the top increasing trend and top decreasing trend, SPI and other factors are calculated. Another system in KP where we monitor this 19 item bucket. This is a dashboard, real-time dashboard, and we can see there is a price differential, where is the minimal price and where the maximum price between these items, and then the administrative officer can take action against them. For instance, I will give an example of the I think lemon is not mentioned over here, but for instance, the price of lemons increase in the Ramzan. So then there is so the system automatically tell you where is the issue, which districts have the issue, so that the deputy commissioner accordingly take action against those people who are hoarding the lemons. So there is a very good considerable case study with us from this portal. Again, this is a citizen portal data. Citizen portal, you might be aware, is a Pakistan citizen portal, which is a primary complaint application. I was the architect of the system. So it gives you a snapshot of the data. It's not about data. It gives you the snapshot of the, you can see this is complaint by category. So you will have an idea what are the major issues identified by the citizens. And then based on those issues, the government take decision, the government make policies. This is again another system and so on. I will just quickly, this is one of the beautiful slides that's very much implemented in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in Punjab, in the federal government. And basically it's a performance management of the entire districts. So this is a district administration performance management. And if you see, there is a consolidated score 81.7. So I'm not sure if this, okay, 81.7. So this is the top district. So this means all the indicators are captured through the systems have fulfilled the criteria. And those who are at bottom, so they have some very, very gray area in the performance management, in the public service delivery. So based on these data, especially in KP in Punjab, the posting transfers of deputy commissioners are done through the system based on this very much parameters. So all these are data-driven parameters. Again, this is another system for Punjab, where Punjab have automated this entire, if you see, these department data are being consolidated through a very systematic system. And then there is a dashboard and then reports, and there is self-service analytics where you can see if there is a health indicator and you want to correlate with the financial indicator, and you are going to correlate with the population data sets. So they have all the correlation available with the data, and so it's a very beautiful system developed by Punjab, and they have the visibility of to the CM, the CS in Punjab P&D department. Lastly, this is open data. Obviously, when we come to the data, so as I mentioned, we are collected a huge amount of data, but this data is very rarely used by the decision makers, even government itself. So so there is a mechanism that you can share the data which is non-sensitive in nature to the public, the researchers, so they can do their research, they can develop their dashboards, they can use and they correlate the data, and in when a person work in the government, so after some year you always think of a box within inside the box. So this open data help you to give us new insight by the young people, by the researchers, and they obviously they give you some good and bad feedback as well. So this is an open data portal. Around 6,000 of data, high quality data sets are available in KP, and these are some areas. And this dashboard is developed by a student from the data that we share. So this is the beauty of the open data, and we obviously request the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics to obviously share some of the non-sensitive data to the general public, so they can use and reuse. This is one of the states. This is my final state for the data point. Pakistan Citizen Portal. So we receive millions of complaints. So we come up with the issue bank. What is the issue tree of Pakistan? So what are the major issues? So it's around 9 million plus complaints, right? So after analyzing all these things, so we come up the number one issue in Pakistan is the municipal services. This is based on 9 million of data. 35% says it's a cleanliness, non-collection of waste, block drain, repair of streets. Second major issue is energy and power. Electricity, load shedding, fault in line, domestic gas. Education, primary education, universities, against the administration, and so on. Health, primary health, lack of facilities, staff absenteeism, lack of facilities in secondary education, secondary health. Law and order, police, traffic, land revenue, against the revenue staff is 4%. So, so this issue tree helped the government of Pakistan to devise strategies. So far, 12 policies has been devised based on the data. This include a holistic policy for cleanliness, this include good governance strategies for the provinces and so on. So this is the beauty of the data, which is the theme of our topic, that is the data into the policy making, data into decision making. Now coming to some global ranking. So in terms of global ranking, as per the UN e-government development index, we are at 136. We did a considerable progress last year. We jumped from 150 to 136, which is a very good progress by the federal government and the provinces as well. But we are still at the very bottom in the open data index. Pakistan currently shares only 19% of the data publicly, which is very, very low. We are very at the bottom. So it's 80%. So in this, we are going well. But in open data, I think we need a lot of improvement in our data management. This is a slide from the Korea e-government agency. Korea has 17,000 plus applications. 17,000 plus mobile apps and applications are developed over the time. There are 4 data centers. So we discussed this, how they progress in this e-government thing. So the primary thing that have identified, and it's same in Pakistan, is the siloed system. Every department have their own IT systems. They don't speak with each other. They don't talk. They don't collaborate. And obviously, every person is the king of their system. Every person is and they have the kingdom of that. I don't want to share the data with Department B. So this is the major issue in the mindset and issue in the systems. So the major issue was the siloed system, one. Second, and then obviously lack of open data. Once you given access to the general public, then you will come to know what are the issues with the government. Unless you are in the government, so you cannot say that there is a particular issue in the government. And then there's a confusing digitization, and obviously weak governance. This part pertains to technology. For instance, sometimes your app is not working, server is down, error, a system error, and so on. Again, out of these obstacles, these are the obstacles and these are the solutions. Siloed information system and data system, that is our topic. So the solution is integrated digital ID. Now Pakistan government have started the Pak ID, which have the integrated ID system, and all the system will be integrated with a central one system that is very important. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, we have Khyber Pass. So once you have Khyber Pass, all the information is consolidated with that Khyber Pass, and you can see how many licenses have you acquired from the government, what is their expiry, what is the token tax that you have paid, and so on. So all these information are available under your one ID system. Shared cloud environment, data sharing guidelines and data standardization. This is one of the area that the federal government and obviously the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics have developed a lot of data guidelines, data SOPs, but still there is no data governance policy at the national level. This is an impact of data silos. So poor data data quality cost an average 12.9 million annually. It's a Gartner study. This is a huge number. And we normally in the government, we all the time are cleansing the data and we are correcting the errors. And obviously unless you have issue in the data, you cannot rely on, and you cannot say that the decision will be 100% perfect. 3% of the company data meet basic quality standards. Data duplication rate can exceed 10%. Obviously, every department since it's in a silo, so every department is operating their own data and our data, and at that time, the storage cost is obviously multiplied. Cybersecurity breach in case of silos can reach to $1 million as compared to the integrated solution. And 92% of the organization globally recognize negativity effect on the customer experience once you don't have a centralized data. And in a country like Estonia, so in Estonia, you have an ID and every data is available with you. I think this X-Road framework is coming next. So all these data is integrated in one, so there is no data duplication. They call it data once data. So so this is the reality of Pakistan. Pakistan generate thousands, millions of data set annually. Either it's a federal government, either it's a provincial government. Less 10% are integrated, are analytics ready, because every system cannot, but the integration and the data analytics means that you have integrated multi-source of data. Since that's not the case, so only 10% or less than 10% are integrated, are ready for the decision making. 80% of the public data remain unstructured, duplicated, siloed, as I discussed. Quality issue, I already talk about 20 to 30% of the operational efficiency. 5% of the government entities in South Asia are use predictive analytics in policy making. This is the mostly it's not a government, mostly it's the UN systems where they are using this data for the policy making analytics. And obviously there is a global shift in AI-driven statistical modernization, and that is again, this is from the UN global platform, and India is one of the area which they're very aggressively using this analytics and all these things for policy making. These are some of the data integration success stories. So in Singapore, the Smart Nation initiatives with 20% of their efficiencies increase in bus services, 15% improvement in the emergency services response time due to the integrated system. Followed by Estonia, I already talked, 99% of public services are available online, 5% increase in the e-voting due to the integrated systems. This is one of the example, it's a very beautiful example of the Estonia, as long as when you're talking about data integration. So this is the X-Road framework. It was developed 25 years ago. And they have processed 17.9 billion transactions since 2000, and with an uptime of 99.9%. This is one of the beautiful model. Why it's so? Because in this model, every department are holding their own data. So they are not dumping the data into some central point. So all the data, for instance, service customer, data repository, service providers, and so on, the bank data, the other sector data are reside with them. They're just collecting it, and they make it sure that there's no duplication of data to this framework. One of success story of the Estonia. In the data value chain, there is three things. One, you should have a data. Data, either structured data, unstructured data. Without data quality, AI is blind. So first thing you must work on the data quality. There should not be erroneous data. There should not be outlier in the data. Then second part is data integration and data exchange. One organization must have this data exchange layer where the different department can correlate. They can come up with the data integration. They can share the data with the frequency. Without integration, AI is fragmented. So AI will give you one-sided question. If you are getting an analytics of health department, so it will give you a preview of health only. But if you are integrating with the population and finances and general census, then it will give you a broader picture of a data. So without integration, AI is fragmented. And then there is agentic AI. I will be talking on this. Without AI, data remains underutilized. So right now we are at this stage, right? So we have a good volume of data with Bureau of Statistics and even the provinces. We have good quality of data. We have some level of data integration. We have a data exchange here, but now we need an AI, most likely an agentic AI, which convert your raw data into a policy, raw data into a decision-making outline. So what is agentic AI? So quickly, the internet is shifting from being human-facing to the machine-facing, right? So right now, what we are doing, if you are going to apply for a government service, you log in into app, and then you fill a form and then multiple form you're filling and then you pay and then your apply is done. So this is called human facing. Then there will be an agentic AI. There will be no more apps. In the future, there will be no more website, there will be no more apps. An AI agent, you will tell your smartphone, please process my driving license, that's it. And it will automatically, the phone have your data, the phone know that what is your name, qualification, other things. The phone have your pictures and every details, your payment details, everything. So this will be the AI agent will be doing all these things through data and API. The future belongs to agentic AI, intelligent system that act, decide, and collaborate autonomously. This is the system when, inshallah, in near future, when Pakistan Bureau of Statistics already developed, they have converted a lot of their data into this AI, LLM, they have developed their own local LLM. But there will be a time, there will be no app at all. There will be only Gondal Saab, and he will be speaking to a data, give me an insight, give me a policy based on this parameter, and that's it. And then the agent will be working, and it will be converting all these commands and all these data into a policy insights. So from descriptive dashboards, so currently we are the descriptive dashboard, we have a dashboard that I've shown to you previously, to autonomous, adaptive, and agentic systems. So there will be no need to you don't need to visit any dashboard. You just ask them what you want, and it will give you the data that is required. So in the future, bye apps and the website and hello agents. This is the future. One of the experts is an AI agentic expert. He will be talking more on the agents and other things. What is the data infrastructure for the future? National data lake with federated architecture, just like the X road. By federated, we have a decentralized architecture. So we at government, we are very touchy about the data that we own. Either it's not about, sir, it's not about the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, but everyone in the government department. If it's a finance department, it's a P&D department. So once they have their own data set, they will hardly allow you to give you their data because they're very touchy about this data. So this is in the federated architecture. So we don't need their consent or say. So there will be an API that we agreed, and then the system will automatically have a cross talk with each other. Integration with the digital ID, this is very important. Payments and the e-government systems. So these are the three areas we'll be talking about in the later stage, the building blocks, how the government digital architecture works. So in the building blocks, there is a 3-4 architecture. One is the identity. So for instance, in Estonia, an ID is given to you. In Pakistan, CNIC is given to you. So based on the CNIC, all these services will be connected to that CNIC. And if you are getting any service, if you are applying for any service, if you are performing any payments, all these things will be done through this building blocks, right? Cloud native, API first, zero trust architecture, 3 difficult name, so API first is the new thing that we don't need a database from anyone. So we'll be connecting it through API, zero trust architecture. Cybersecurity is very, very important. So no trust with anyone in terms of this data sharing and data protocols, metadata standard for the discovery, quality, and scoring. And most important, very important, the ethical use of AI and data, which is very much important. When you give an access, a holistic access to someone, then this is a very crucial point, the ethical use of data. So I will be going to few more slides. And so we have a lot of data, right? So in KP, we have around, in total, we have 2,000 plus digital assets in Pakistan. Digital assets, I mean, this is software, the apps that are operating currently. In KP, we have 450, HJK 250, GB 30, Punjab 700 and across, and we have thousands and thousands of data sets. But why we are not creating value and impact from the data and digital transformation initiatives? That's the question, right? So these are the gaps, and these are the missing links. We have data, but we don't have the insights. One, we are digital, but this doesn't mean that we are transformed. It doesn't mean. So it's an entirely different equation. We have siloed system and siloed thinking. We are still in the process, we do not to give data to anyone else. Absence of agentic intelligence, weak data governance because we don't have a policy. Who will be the custodian of the data? Skill gaps, we don't have technical people in AI, we don't have technical people in data management, we don't have good people in agentic AI. And then obviously this impact blindness. So this is the areas that I will translating the previous slide into this one. So these are three areas. One is the governance, technology, and then competence. These are the three areas which need, these are the missing links. We don't have a data governance strategy, one. Privacy and security, very important part of most of the people, due to this part, do not participate, do not share data with you, due to the privacy and the security, and most important, the change management, that I will be giving data to someone else for the productivity. So change management is an important one. Technology in silos, there's no, for instance, if we are talking about the AI and other things, but we don't have a GPU-based data center at all. So this is the area that the government is currently working on. Standardization, interoperability, frameworks, data exchange protocols, skill set, cross-sector relationship partner with the private sector, and culture of chief data officers in the government organization is one of the missing links. So once a wise man said, local problems require local solution. If Pakistan bureaucratic say they get the solution from South Korea, from the Estonia, and they're trying to fit into the Pakistan bureaucracy, that will failure, right? So for a local problem, we need a local solution. Solution tailored to the specific cultural, economic, and environmental context. And this is the solutions, right? One, whole of the government approach. When we are talking about the data, we are talking about the digital governance, we are talking about the digital transformation. So we must opt for the whole of the government approach. Luckily, we have a very good state IT minister and planning minister. They are working very well in this area, and currently Digital Nation Pakistan Act has been currently implemented, and they are working very well. Then there is a data governance policy. It's one of the plan in Digital Nation Pakistan Act, which include a data governance policy. AA policy is already promulgated. Strengthened data security and compliance, data access, zero trust architecture, culture of data officers, performance by automated data-driven system, and last thing, data govpedia, knowledge exchange hub of data-driven case studies and open data policy. These are the areas which lies under the governance point of view. So this is the area where the senior management have to see, and this is the starting point. So obviously there is a policy, then there is a governance, and then there is a technology, and then there is a processes. And in technology, obviously, once you have the policy in place, you have a data governance policy in place. So data integration framework should be implemented. Pakistan enterprise architecture is very much on final stages. So this will be a very holistic view of the data sharing and all these things. Open API framework, just like the India stake. Upgradation of technology infrastructure like GPUs based. The Pakistan bureaucratic, they have developed their own data center, which is GPU functionality. So they are now modernized to the capabilities of the AI. And ethical use of data is one of the. This is the, I think it's the second last slide. So when we are talking about the digitization, so this is the structure opposes the coming up with the building blocks. So why we are not getting the impact? This is the missing link. So we have, for instance, we have this area, we may have this area, but not holistically all areas. So in every area, you have to come up with a basic building block. There's a foundation building block, so there is an identity building block, then there is a service building block. This is a GovStack architecture of the UNDP, very well, GIZ, sorry. And it's a very adopted worldwide. So these are the building blocks that you have to come step by step. So we have the foundation block, then there you have the service block, then you have the payment block, and all these things are integrated with each other. And then finally, this is a digital competence. You required good people at executive level. Most important, it's not about the technology people that should be educated. It's about, most importantly, the people at the top level, at policy level. So they understand how AI can transform all these things. Most of the senior officers, when it's come to conversation with us, so they are of the view, if I give you the data, it will be hacked. So this is the mindset. So if they have this capacity building all the time, so I think, so they will be in the better position to comment well. Important data narrative, data storytelling, promote awareness, collaboration, civic innovation, and so on. Few takeaway, we need a data governance policy, which is almost a part of our Digital Pakistan bill. Centralized data framework is also part of Pakistan architecture, enterprise architecture. Last year, we also discussed about this chief data officer role. This is very important, and I think government should adopt it very early. Data integration and interoperability is somehow very much mature after this enterprise architecture. DPI is another area that I talk about, and obviously the skill set, right? This is my last slide, and this is my personal. So this is Sir Gondal Saab, and it's Gondal Saab. It's me. So it's a picture. I think it's a 20-year ago picture when when I joined the service. So we obviously, Sir is my mentor, my teacher, and obviously my inspiration. And we all the time trying to act like Sir, but it's obviously it's a failure story. So Sir was the pioneer of IT in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He's the first director of IT in government of KP. Sir spearheaded 40 applications that time in 2005 when nobody know the automation and anything, and now it's around 450 plus applications. So on the foundation of a Sir, we built a lot of success. We built a lot of applications, and obviously he led the foundation of the digital governance. And मैं अक्सर एक और चीज मैं कहूँ सर के लिए in last 1 minute, sorry, this is one moment. So in 2005 I was the web manager of KP portal. So I was very expert in this web technologies. So I developed a very beautiful presentation, and I say I'll impress the Sir right away. And I know you know nothing about the web, right? So I did a lot of effort, and then I come to Sir to present the new web portal design and app. And then Sir listened me 30 minutes presentation, and he listened me very, very keenly. And I was impressed that he's impressed. He's obviously impressed, and he know nothing. And then he gave me he say, do these 3 things. And those 3 things took 6 months of mine. And I do the same thing right now. Even last month, we developed a policy for the government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So I did a lot of effort, almost 8 months of effort, and I tell Sir, I did a lot of effort in this, and please review. And Sir give me 4 pages of email on. So Sir is very kind to me. Thank you very much, Sir. So it took 25 years to mature the Estonian Explode framework. The point is, similarly in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sir Gondal laid the foundation for digital governance in 2025. Every digital transformation takes years to mature. The best time to start was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So whatever we are doing right now, we are a technology partners. So whatever we are doing today, somebody will be proud of us 20 years after. The federal government BS are fortunate to have Sir Gondal Pakistan Bureau of Statistics in a very good hands. The digital nation Pakistan motto of seamless experience, cashless economy, and paperless Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and we are very much on track to that. Still a long way to go, but together we can, and together we must. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Thank you, Dr. Sir. It was a very detailed and specific presentation, which basically highlighted all the great work that was done by various people and organizations for various government sectors. So I think at the end of this talk, you want to ask a question, right? Okay, what we have already decided, I'll just tell you that. What we want to do is that we will like to have a bit of a panel discussion among the panelists. And at the later part of that, we will inshallah open the session for everyone so that they can ask questions. I hope you will get ample amount of time for your questions. Thank you. Okay. So just a bit of a prelude to the questions that we are going to ask from the panelists. Dr. Saab have summarized, I think, more than 10 years of work in the last 25 minutes. And if I would like to summarize it a bit further, I would say that he identified some certain issues that we have come across during that journey. Few of those I've already mentioned here, and I'm just going to talk about them, and then we will start asking questions from the panelists. The first seems to be the availability of the required trained HR. We might every now and then would find ourselves in a situation that we know that our technology can come in and solve a problem, but we cannot find the relevant people. The development of platforms or centralized or decentralized organizations for ingestion of data, transformation of raw data into something that is usable, also identifying the biases that are already existing in the data. So because not only government sector is producing that data, some other organizations are also producing that data, and we are not sure about how they have or with what perspective they have accumulated that data. So any government organization needs to look into these areas. We also would like to talk about the issues that organizations generally find themselves while implementing such technologies. So we want to learn from the experiences of other organizations, what people have done in other part of the world as well. So we would like to talk about the pitfalls and the learning and learning the best practices. Also, we would like to talk about the integration and access control. And lastly, but most importantly, we would like to talk about the ethical issues in the data utilization, because what you have seen across here is that different organizations which are actually holding the data, they are always fearful of sharing that information with others. So what is going to happen to that data, how it is going to be ingested, integrated into other systems, who will be given access to it, how people will be using that. So these are all open questions. So before I talk more about it and consume further time, I would like to ask Dr. Hassan to basically talk about what opportunities that are presented to us when we talk about introduction of these technologies into our government sector, especially given the circumstances like introduction of technologies like large language models, how these things, these technologies are going to shape the future. So please, a bit of foundation and then some context. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Especially thank you to PBS for allowing us to communicate our thoughts on these different topics. And I would also, before I start, thank all of you audience for listening to us, because there's no point in having a panel if there's no one to listen to us. Before I talk about the opportunities, let me try to get everyone on board about the technologies that we're talking about, because even in the presentation there was a mention of LLMs and agentic AI. So I would like to give a non-tech, non-computing example of this. Since the dawn of civilization, human beings have had the problem of waking up early, right? Because we had limited work hours, we wanted to work in the light. So even as hunter-gatherers back in those days, we had to get up early. Eventually what happened was civilization progressed, we made candles and we would put nail in those candles at certain points, and after the candle had burned through the wax, the nail would drop in a metal plate and it would help people, waking up. When we entered into the industrial era, and there were certainly factories that were being set up, and there was a huge demand on creation of a workforce that can get up really early in the morning. And we didn't have access to alarm clocks. Do you know how people would used to wake up at that time? In Victorian era, there was this whole profession of window knockers. There were people who would knock at your window at a certain time in the morning. Think about it. Nowadays, if someone knocks at your window at 5 o'clock in the morning, आपका तुतरा ही निकल जाएगा कि ये क्या? You might even call the police. So eventually, as human civilization progressed, those solutions started to become obsolete. Nowadays, we have alarm clocks, and which were the standards for a very long time. Now you have smartphones. Your smartphones are now intelligent enough that if you're already up and you turn the alarm off, it will ask you, do you want to turn it off for today? And I can set it up for tomorrow as well, because it is smart enough to understand that there might be the same requirement tomorrow. What agentic AI is trying to do is build an AI system which has the autonomy to make these decisions on your behalf. So what it will do is it will analyze the person that it is working for. If you're under 18, so आपको कम से कम 5 alarm चाहिए होंगे फजर के लिए, जागने के लिए. And as you progress in your age, when you're nearing retirement, 1 alarm is going to be enough. At 80, it is going to wake you up for tahajjud as well, because now it knows about Allah bahut zyada yaad aa raha hai. So the agentic AI system, based on the information it has about you, has progressed, it evolves, it naturally takes more decisions which are relevant to you. That is the whole thing that we're trying to build. And now, the more intelligent a system has to be, requires a lot of training, it requires a lot of data. This is what an LLM is. Again, since the dawn of civilization, human beings have this problem that we want to communicate our ideas to other people. How do we do that? By language. And a lot of language, where it comes from, is written word. So we want to express our feelings to other people, and we write. We have authors. Pakistan is known for its shairi as well. We had people who could write very well. But for AI, this is a more recent technology. What AI did is it takes all of that data and it tries to understand, and it predicts what word follows another word, so that it builds a sequence. And a quick show of hand, how many of you are now using LLMs? Myself included, and I'm sure other people as well. So there is a large majority of people that are now using LLMs, and that is the beauty of AI, that now it is proliferating to different different domains in your everyday life, and it is building those systems. This whole thing now creates a lot of opportunity for us to work further. We would like a lot of systems to make these decisions for us, to facilitate us in a lot of our decision making. In AI, we call these systems as decision support systems. And there are a lot of different countries that are working with these DSS systems to build different platforms. Even if Pakistan has to go into e-governance, as was pointed out in by our keynote speaker, we cannot have e-governance if we do not have a very structured data. Having a structured data allows us to pre-process it, build it for different applications, and then applications can learn from that. I mean, think of it, agar aapke paas koi ek teacher hai who has had like 20 years of experience, and then you compare that person with someone who has no experience, there is going to be a huge difference. Regardless of how good they are on their personality level, the experience itself trains them a lot. So what this data does, and especially pre-processed structured data, what it does is it allows us to refine our AI-based systems to be more intelligent, and it allows us to tap into all of those different areas that we previously did not see AI was applicable on. In very short summary, coming back to the question, AI is doing the same thing to computing what the steam engine did to the industrial era. So that should explain to you that AI is going to revolutionize, not in a sense that it is going to destroy everything. It is going to build a lot of different things that you can, use in your life, and it will facilitate you. Obviously, some things are like we don't have window knockers anymore, so some professions are going to become a bit redundant or obsolete, but it also creates opportunities for others to take their place. So I hope that should help.
Thank you. I would now like to ask Dr. Ashraf to please comment about the foundations that need to be put down just to bring this change in the way that we basically provide services to the public. So how the organizations, the government organizations should evolve given the latest technology evolution.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank PBS for convening this panel discussion. I think it's timely. Second, I would like also to thank Akif Saab for the presentation, insightful presentation. And I would like to add that not only eggs, the prices raised, but banana as well. So this is something that I witnessed, experienced here in Pakistan. So, but let's back to our context. So today I was having my coffee and I was saying that we're going to have the panel discussion this afternoon and related to the AI agentic. So I was saying maybe the next data festival, we're not going to see human being as panelists, but you're going to see AI agent, right? Maybe we will keep you as moderator to just say that the human being is still living in this earth. But this is something that can happen very soon. The second thing that I would like to bring is 2 weeks back, I witnessed some debate on LinkedIn about who has to drive the AI discussion, who has to be leading this. So everyone was saying, it's me. If I'm IT, computer science, it's me, because I have the technology. If statistician would say, no, it's me, because I have the modeling. The others would say, it's me. The data engineering would say, it's me. I think for me, it's multidisciplinary, and the beauty is there, right? Though everybody is saying that this is my piece of cake, but it's not one-man show. It's not one sector show. It's everybody. And I think the question that you ask, unanimity. I mean, everybody is using LLM. Maybe if you ask them ChatGPT, the answer would be higher, because, right? And the other LLMs that they are famous now. I want to add something on AI, maybe to kind of decrease a bit the hype that now we are seeing about the AI. So this year, MIT University, and I'm really happy to see you, Wakas, in the room on this, they produced a report. And one of the findings that created controversy is that 85 of the AI initiative or powered initiatives has failed, 85%. It's not 5%, it's 85%. So the question was like between experts who are saying, if we have all this potential, how come we are failing? So the root causes of this, again, unfortunately, it's the human implementation. It's not about the technology on itself. The other thing that I would like also to add before starting to talk about the foundation, there is also another trend on the market or labor force. So now there are now in private sector, certain companies, they are hiring people on the middle career with a good capacity and skills on AI and just lay off people who are on the late experience, meaning that they're going to hire people to produce, according to them, the same product, but maybe half price of the cost of the human. This is the fourth thing that I would like to bring. This is maybe to tell us that we need to speak about the foundation. How can we make this AI a public good, one, but how can we make it as working for us? We see the potential, but there are many things that we need to discuss. So there are a list of kind of must to have, right? So we have the infrastructure. I think Mr. Akif has also covered a bit. We have the readiness organization. To what extent our organization are ready in terms of skills, in terms of strategies, in terms of our leaders, whether they are adopting this AI or no. Some of them, they have the pressure. If the PIDP is doing something on AI, the other IDPs would say, why not me? So that's something good, but we need to make sure that our organization and institution are working together and they are ready for that. The ethical governance is very important. Ethics is around. The different LLMs are using data coming from everywhere. They are using data that might be biased. They may not give you as output what the reality is. They are masking certain age groups or certain population from the discussion. The other thing is the collaboration. Since we agree that it's multidisciplinary, IT academia cannot do the work on themselves because they are working, they are maybe more advanced in terms of talent management, research, but the practice, the industry is there. So that collaboration should take place. The same would apply with the public institution. We're talking about the Statistical Office, the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. The amount, the wealth of data that is generated now. It's very important to focus on the collaboration and cooperation together. The last thing is, maybe should be the first one, is about capacity building. It's very important. And here we are facing something that it's not like the other things. It's not like what we know as a statistics, you need to know the means, the median, so on and so forth. We are talking about something that if you learn today, tomorrow, that's not 100% that you're going to survive with what you learned today, because there are things coming tomorrow, and you have to learn. So capacity building is maybe something it should be ongoing. Whatever today, 3 years back, we don't know what does that mean, AI agentic, right? We're still talking about how this generative GPT is doing. But the fact that you have an assistant, you have a co-pilot with you doing the work, it's something new. We don't know what's coming next, so we should be ready for that. I think this is few things that I can share for the time being. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maratib. We agree that all these issues are there, and we also agree that such steps needs to be taken. But my inquisitive question would be, where to start from? Because you have listed down these things, but let's say if an organization is stepping into this domain now, in this current era, where should they start from? Because some of the actors that you have identified, one of them is academia. We can understand this perspective pretty well, because we know that academia is struggling to produce the required human resource. We are struggling in that. But at the same time, where to start from? So we know that the raw material coming out of the universities, they lack those skills which are required. At the same time, policies are not there. At the same time, the infrastructure is not there. So what should be your first step? Please identify that. That would be an amazing start.
Sure, thank you. I think it's a great question. And usually when we say great question, meaning that it's a difficult question, right? This is how we do it. But you mentioned something that it's critical. We need to start by a strategy, national AI strategy. It's very important. This would give us the framework of the different components that we want to develop. Second to that, you need to map the different subcomponents. To what extent you are ready? There are now an index globally used about AI readiness index. So to situate, locate where Pakistan stands for on this and work on the different subcomponents on the readiness. The capacity building, I was talking with Dr. Hassan on the HR. As university, maybe how many data science, how many AI people can bring the universities is to identify first the pipelines in terms of HR and the needs as well from the public and the private sector. So it's a big, like we say in France, chantier, it's a big portfolio that we're going to tackle. But again, we need to start by the policy and the strategy and the regulation framework. This is the most thing that we need to start with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the insight. I would again go to Dr. Hassan, and I would ask him to talk about the initiatives PBS should take for national data, developing a national data infrastructure which can support all this change that we have identified today, especially given the talk by Dr. Akif. Now we understand that the amount of work that already has been done. So where do you see it's that developing infrastructure and maybe the policy supporting that? So please comment on that.
Sir, another good question. Essentially, we have to understand that even in the keynote, this was mentioned that we have the concept of a data silo. What is the problem that PBS or the government level needs to address? The problem is that we have data which is fractured. It's not present in one place. I pay a tax, I buy something, I pay a tax, I pay my bill, I pay a tax, I get my salary, I pay a tax, and still at the end of the year, the government asks me, how much tax did you pay? They are supposed to know how much tax I pay. That's my tax return automatically. So they have the information, but the information is not placed in one place. This is a huge challenge. The secondly is, as we've already talked about ChatGPT or LLMs, what they build upon is the amount of data that you give to them. What we're doing is right now, ChatGPT that we're using, it is trained on a lot of data which is not specialized towards us. I believe, and I've talked to many different AI researchers, and my whole area of research is autonomous AI. And what we do, what all of us AI researchers feel is that we need a national data center where we can place checks and balances. We have our own SOPs for it. There has to be compliance for it, how the data can be accessed, and our data should be present within the boundaries of our country. Right? So that our government has access to it and it controls who else has access to it. I believe that PBS, and this is true for any national statistics agency across the world, that they are no longer meant for just data collection. They are essentially the data custodians, and they are the ones that will lead the AI innovation as far as the government sector is concerned. And once they have access to these things, then the private sector will automatically utilize this information. Right now, Facebook, Instagram, all of these, they are already collecting a lot of data from us. So as PBS, and one thing that I would like to mention, which was also mentioned by our keynote speaker, is I was so impressed the first time I met with the team at PBS. And I've, alhamdulillah, met with a lot of different government agencies, being, FAST, we're the top computing school in Pakistan. So we get the opportunity, alhamdulillah, to talk to a lot of people. I was so impressed by this team that they got their hands dirty. They knew what they were talking about. It was as if I was talking to IT people. So what this does is this puts them in a unique position where they can bridge the gap and help the higher officials in the government understand the need for reforms and having a data center which is set up for Pakistani people by the Pakistani people within the boundaries of Pakistan, so that the different privacy issues, security issues, those can also be addressed to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Before moving towards other participants, I would like to ask one more question from Dr. Marabit. You have worked with UNICEF, and we would like to get some comments on it, like how can the things that you have learned while working for UNICEF can help Pakistan, or as a matter of fact, Pakistan's Bureau of Statistics in AI capacity building, while being ethical, while being evidence-based, and while keeping it child safe at the same time, because we are always concerned about the data that is available to us, who's controlling the data, especially given importance to the underage people who are using that. So we want to protect it. So kindly please comment on that, because this is very important. If you start bringing data inter-silo, you connect the silos, and then you start using that data. So this question becomes important, please.
Thank you. I'm representing UNICEF here, and let me maybe take a few or 30 seconds to speak about what we are doing in terms of AI in UNICEF. So for us, we developed, I think our mandate is to serve and protect children all over the world, including Pakistan here. And we have very good presence in the country. In the most of the districts, we are there without exception. So on AI, we developed AI strategy that covers the period 25 to 2030, and our vision is very simple vision. We want to use AI to advance the child rights, at the same time the SDG indicator, so all SDG agenda. But we have 4 pillars for this. So we think that AI can be used to improve the efficiency of our programs, the different programs that we have, different sectors that we are intervening, like the public, like the health, like nutrition, like education, like polio, like the other topics. And also, we believe that AI can improve our efficiency in terms of operation. So resource optimization, and productivity, the word that I was looking for. The third component is we can use AI for advocacy as well. And the fourth is to have one unified and ethical and scalable approach in terms of building any AI product related to children, something very, very centered around the children. I think for us, now come back to your question. We as an international organization, we believe in partnerships. And we think that by building the partnership, like we said, with the different actors of the AI ecosystem in the country, we can achieve more. So we had one example. I would like to bring maybe one illustration of work that personally I contributed to. There were a big project, big initiative, big platform that has been developed in Latin America. True that the local solution can only work if it's customized, but we can learn, we can understand more how things can succeed there, and we can learn from it. So what we did as UNICEF in Latin America, we built a platform, and that platform includes the public institution, the private institution, the academia, and CSOs, right? These are the 4 stakeholders that were involved. We have what we call a connect, two pillars. One we call the connect, and the nodes. I'm coming to explain this, what is the subcomponent or the pillar of connect. So connect, assuming that we want to build something in Pakistan, for example, this platform. So the connect will be the layer at the federal level. So you have the strategic advice, the strategic AI leadership should stand with the federal level. And you have the nodes you can call the prevention. And each layer, with either the connect or the node, you have the stakeholders that they are there. Public institution, the private sector, the academia, and the CSOs. So this is, the ecosystem would work like that. So what we did, how we start on this. So again, we start with very simple exercise is the mapping, right? So you see what you have in your ecosystem, how is the processes, how are the technologies, the level of readiness on the data science and AI. And then we build the framework, we established the framework, we supported the countries there to build the national AI strategies. We support that because part of the capacity, the technical assistance that we do as UNICEF is to support also country on formulation of policies, AI policies or regulation framework, in addition to the technical assistance and the capacity building. And in addition to that, the platform is not like something general, but we tried only to focus on 2 or 3 sectors, mainly related to the work of UNICEF, the development and the emergency part. So we've been able to face certain challenges, complex challenges like the climate change. Climate change you cannot tackle this as academia, you cannot. If you say that I can, you cannot. Or public institutions will say, statistical office, I can give you a solution for that. You cannot. The data, like Dr. Hassan was saying, is everywhere. So you need to bring everywhere to the table. And this is the role of UNICEF as well, to grow, enable, and facilitate and grow any collaboration between the different ecosystems. We think that our model has been successful so far. We learned a lot from it. And maybe the idea as well, maybe I'm now sitting here and try to pitch this idea. Maybe this is something that can be also happen in Pakistan. This is over for myself.
Thank you. This is something very amazing, what you have achieved at UNICEF, and then bring all that knowledge for other countries and other organizations too, so that they can learn from your experiences. The other aspect of this whole discussion would be the public-private partnership. So how we can bring in government sector organizations and the public sector in harnessing the power that is there in the big data, and how to develop the public policies, keeping in view all the stakeholders in that. So I would like to ask this question from Dr. Attila, and would love to know his comments on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, congratulations. You've come a long way already, and there's so much ambition. It's amazing to listen to all these fiery enthusiasm about all this topic. So I'm coming from academia, so we think on a smaller scale at the moment. More specifically, I'm coming from demographic population modeling research group. So we have a much narrower focus of our attention than my colleagues here on the panel and in the audience. So how build partnerships? So our research group is developing new methodologies to visualize data, to analyze data, to map data, map people and population characteristics. So we often do this as an independent research unit, so just using public data sets. But the biggest strength of my organization is that we are building partnerships. And our partnerships are starting from input data providers, like we are working with Meta and Google and Microsoft and other big data providers, which can feed our population models with reliable, accurate, and timely relevant data. The second type of partnership we have is actually with other academic units, other researchers, which can be actually coming from governmental organizations or statistical offices. So we are building partnerships where we can develop our methodologies, test our methodologies, and improve it to local contexts, customize, learn from that, and then maybe we can use other building plots to apply it elsewhere. So that's the second one. The third one is actually around applications and making a good use of the data, in real life. So we again work a lot with UNICEF and other UN organizations, UNHCR. We are working with national governments in certain countries where we share our methodology, share our results, and together we create use case applications, because machine learning, AI-generated data, or just basic, GIS analysis and applications can have far-reaching benefits. It can be used for the goods, to responding to natural hazards, or a flood event, or responding to failing crop yields, and then you would know that it's likely that the rice is less than optimal this year, but we have a high demand, so the government can plan, we need to import rice, I'm just making this up, to serve the demands of the country. So these partnerships are very important to make the next step with the data to reach the last mile population with these applications. So obviously, so this is a very data heavy kind of industry, and everything is data heavy, so you need to know and you need to integrate different types of data, integrate different partners into the conversation and into the decision making. There are plenty of examples online that you can see public-private relationships, what type of contracts and data sharing they used. So that can be a blueprint to start the conversation. But I think the most fundamental thing is that you understand what you need. So you need a national strategy that you then make it more explicit that in certain sector you want to achieve such and such, what data you need for that. And then you can start thinking about where are the potential data sources for that. Satellite image derived data is one, which is easily accessible nowadays, especially because of the increased computational capacity and also the increased spatial and temporal resolution of such data. The other that you can think about is like private sector data, because they collect all sorts of information on us. So if they can share aggregated or anonymized or a sample of their data sets, that can be very useful for extrapolating on it. But always, in my view, coming from academia, we always go back to the ground truth. So national statistical agency data sets, which are rigorously collected, nationally representative, you understand the data, it has good quality, so that has to be kind of the baseline based on you build on your all these big data analysis. Because big data, as it was already mentioned, has biases. Some of them have smaller bias, some of them are large. There is often an urban-rural divide, that some big data is more in the urban environment, less relevant or more coarse resolution for the rural area. So you have to have a good understanding what you are working with and correct for those biases before you actually integrate it with other nationally representative data sets. I think I just stop here because I think I said a lot. But yeah, private-public partnerships are increasingly important. It gives the spice, it gives the opportunity to update your own nationally representative good quality data. It gives the opportunity to create new knowledge. And it is advisable to limit how much the machines are allowed to decide on, but definitely it should raise some flags, and then, appropriately trained people who can critically analyze the data and critically understand what the machine is calculated, whether it makes sense, and then act on it at a government or national level. So that would be my response for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Attila, I would like to ask a bit more about, like you have already mentioned that satellite imagery, something very amazing. This data is available to us, more computation is available to us, call records, which is actually being, this data is gathered by some other organizations. So once we start talking about like public-private partnership and we say that the government should make the policy, the private organizations or the corporate organizations, they get scared, I guess. They start worrying about like we are being harnessed or we are being put into a cage of policy. Because this is something that these organizations worry a lot about. Because once you start asking them like these are the frameworks within which bounds you need to work, so they become worried about it. So I would like to know like what is your experience when in other parts of the world when this is happening, how the organizations behave and what are the best policies, best ways to incorporate public-private partnership. So because this is important for us.
Yeah, thank you. So there were multiple questions in this one question. One is around satellite images and satellite-derived data. So yeah, these large organizations like Google and Meta and others kind of pre-process many of the data sets that are freely downloadable online. Of course, there are multiple data providers for the same issue. So it is always important to check what is relevant in the Pakistani context, because some of them are better in some contexts, some of them are better in other contexts. So that's one. Probably what I would like to highlight, that there are huge amount of publicly available data sets online already that you can start using and making better models, better decisions, better analysis. The second around satellite data and other novel technology data, that there are other type of data sets, not just private data sets, and not just satellite image derived data sets available, but there are other like UNICEF and Gavi and other humanitarian organizations collect regularly when they do field campaigns. which is the quality is not designed for national statistical analysis, but they are door-to-door surveys or delivering mosquito nets or vaccinating children, and that's a huge information which is kind of a census type information source. So if the quality can be ensured through training and you understand what the data represents, that is another opportunity to actually get survey type, nationally representative survey type data into the discussions. But going back to the question around validity of models and trust in machine learning and AI algorithms. So that's a big headache for governments and decision makers, that how much they trust the data, because the gold standard in a country is always the National Statistical Service data, because we know that it's good quality, it captured everyone, it's nationally representative. So this is actually going back to education, that data literacy and literacy around methodological applications and education for our decision makers and politicians, that what the data means, how you should think about the data. So don't take it as a face value, always put it into the context and understand what the data means. So a lot of the trust issue is coming from that data is less understood what it represents, because as academia we always talk about uncertainty, that we are not so sure, and there are all these issues with the input data, so that can impact the results, etc., etc. But there is a limit. So when is the data good enough? So it may be not perfect, but it's good enough to make certain decisions, and that's what PBS should communicate towards decision makers, that what is an acceptable level of confidence in the data that they can work with already. And of course, the next generations that coming up, so people growing up listening to these conversations, in a few years' time, they are going to be joining the workforce and working their ways up in the ladder in public and private organizations, making new innovations, and then they will drive the change as well in mentality and acceptance for these methods. But as an academia, coming from academia, I always go back to critical thinking and informed decisions. So yeah, that's how you can actually make sure that what you are using is good enough. And as an academia and as PBS, always having clear methodologies, communicable methodologies, clear measure of uncertainty, and clear about what it means and how it can be used in practice. So these are all kind of little ingredients that make up that how can machine learning and data-driven approaches become more palatable for politicians to make decisions based on them. And maybe I just stop here again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Thank you for your comments. Without any further delay, because we are running into the later part of our panel discussion, I would like to ask Ms. Fatma Akhtar. She's working for JAZ. That because we already know that Pakistan is one of those countries which has gained a lot of momentum in the last 1 decade in digitizing their footprint as far as the government goes, as far as the organization goes, but there's still some gaps in communication, in the availability of the network, in the availability of the technology. So JAZ being one of those partners which are well versed with providing connectivity to our common users, connectivity to our organizations. So kindly please comment on this, like how we can basically implement all the learning that JAZ had from other countries, and then how you can bring that information, that knowledge into Pakistan and help Pakistan in growing and bridging those gaps, please.
Thank you. I'm just going to begin with learning from other countries. I think that's been a theme of this panel also, that imported intelligence. I think we need to rely on it, but what we really need to do is build our own local capability. And this is where I think sovereignty of Pakistan really sort of comes into play. Sovereignty today is going to be an outcome of our own intelligence, artificial intelligence being a use case. So just on that example, I think that indigenous, localized technology, bottom-up technology, that's really what we need right now. As far as jazz is concerned, yes, over the past decade, Pakistan has made significant progress in its digitization agenda. We've seen the liberalization of the telecom industry. We've seen the fiberization sort of penetration increasing. However, I think we need to we should be cautiously optimistic about Pakistan's digitization journey, because there are a lot of challenges to our digitization journey as well. I would like to call it a digital paradox, that while we see across cities penetration is increasing, usage is increasing, there are a lot of connectivity gaps which still exist. The biggest dilemma in digitization that Pakistan faces is actually a report by GSMA that as much as connectivity has increased in Pakistan, there is a significant usage gap. So you may have connected most of the population, but close to half of the population, there is still a usage gap, which essentially means they are in an area of mobile connectivity, but they are not leveraging it to improve their productivity or their livelihoods. This is something which really is which we have taken very, very seriously at Jazz, and we are very committed to it, that it's not just enough to build Pakistan's connectivity, but it is even more important to build Pakistan's capability. When we talk about capability, just with reference to the panel today, I must appreciate everybody on the panel. This has been a very, very sort of enlightening conversation actually, and I feel I don't have much left to say, but just to add, Jazz in partnership with the government and academia. So we did adopt a triple helix model approach and a multidimensional approach towards how we want to look at AI for public good. We actually committed that we are going to build an indigenous large language model. This is going to be based on our own cultural nuances, our own language. It's going to be sort of in Urdu. We will scale it up to other languages. Currently, that process is underway. We're working with an academic partner in this regard. But we did take the government on board, the Ministry of IT by virtue of NITB. We're working with them to really sort of build our own local sovereignty. So ultimately, technology, digitization, AI, it's a force for good. AI is a force multiplier. And it's important that we recognize the relevance of building local indigenous technology. That's really what the journey we as Jazz are on. It's a learning. I think it's approaching it with a learning lens and trying to embed ethical AI as part of that journey. Responsible AI is a framework we prescribe to, ensuring how can we leverage data, because I don't think we have I think before we talk about AI, this data conversation is very relevant, because data is there, but the crisis is not the availability of data. I think it's the interoperability of data that we really need to hack. And we have to figure out a better way of how entities talk to each other so we can really graduate from this silo approach. This is our experience as we are working on our LLM also, that how across different government ministries, a lot of the publicly available data sets are being scrapped, but really, how can this interoperability be improved? Somebody mentioned Nadra's sort of digital ID, and I feel that's really where a positive step in terms of how we can really bring that interoperability into play. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have just two very quick comments. One from Madam Fatma, and the other one from Dr. Hassan. But you need to keep it very short because we are running out of time. You have mentioned about the issues that that you have come across. But I would like to know if, while working with the various government organizations, different framework providers, different policy implementers, were you able to develop something that is local? Because you have mentioned like you are working on an LLM which is Pakistan based. So what issues you come across? Were there any policy challenges that were there? Because obviously when you start collecting data, especially if it is user data, there are issues. So I would like some comment on that.
So we signed this partnership with the government and academia about sort of, I think a little less than a year ago or almost a year ago. But since then, a big part of this journey has been educating government, federal government entities on what LLMs are. So I think capacity building is really sort of something we need to build on. It cannot just be done by one entity like Jazz. I think we really need to look at it at a national agenda, that within the government, even within the private sector. So since the advent of AI, everybody talks about improved productivity, but I'm just going to give everybody an example of how AI is being embedded within our organization. So we have 3 pillars to AI. So it's people, it's product, it's policy. When we talk about people, our main aim is, okay, how can we leverage AI to improve people's productivity, right? So I know there is talk of AI replacing job, but there is also a view that AI is actually augmented intelligence. How are we improving human capability and raising it? I mean, if one person is able to produce productivity 3 times that they were pre sort of, LLMs and all of that, that's really what we want to hack. From a product perspective, since we're a customer-driven organization, how can we build products that customers can use in their everyday life that improves their lives and improves their livelihoods? An example of that is fintech. How are we, through apps like Jazz Cash, how are we doing that? Another use case for this is insurance also. Pakistan, typically, we used to hear less than 1% insurance penetration. Our biggest learning has been that it's not insurance that the citizens of Pakistan are averse to. It's the platforms through which insurance is really sort of provided. And if you are able to give them intelligent insurance on their fingertips, it's a completely different experience. And lastly is policy. And this is where I must appreciate the government. I must appreciate the current sort of IT ministry, NITV. These are all entities that we have interacted with. And I think the lens is, we must learn it together. We are on a journey. What success looks like is not that we suddenly go up the rankings on AI readiness, but really see that in our local context, with our gaps, how can we build systems which talk to each other, which are interoperable, and ultimately improve the lives of our citizens, really. So that's something.
Thank you. A quick question from Dr. Hassan. I would like to know, because we are getting data from so many people, organizations, we are using it and interoperating it, performing analytics on it, so and giving access to so many organizations, so many people. Where do you think the ethics part of it is important, and some comments on that? And I would quietly comment on that. I would like you to keep the comment short. Thank you.
I think what you really nailed it with that question, because this is going to be a huge challenge for us. And very briefly, number one problem is going to be like someone like me. I take 300 pictures. One of them is usable as a display picture. The 299 ones, they still are uploaded. So that is a privacy concern as well. We are a nation who are more concerned. हमारी अम्मियाँ कहती हैं पहले पर्दे लगाओ, then we move into the new house. That is a huge challenge for us. And when we talk about, like I said, we have a national data center, I would trust the government to have access to that rather than some private organization. And most importantly, there is also the issue of awareness. There is a lot of fake information, wrong information. AI is being used to generate a lot of not so correct information, right? And it's becoming more and more difficult to identify which is the correct source of information and where the wrong one is coming from. So governments need to take charge, raise awareness. We need to build AI. As Dr. Attila also said, he does not trust machines. I work with machines. I don't trust machines. See, so we have to be careful in how we progress further, and instead of jumping on a ship without planning it appropriately, we have to put in proper compliances and standards so that our data is not misused later down the road.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. This brings us down to the final question from all the panelists. Like, where do you see us going into the next era? I mean, like, where do you see all this technology, amalgamation of this technology, keeping in view the requirements of Pakistan, where do you see it going in the next 10 years? Dr. Akif, please.
मेरी presentation का last part of my presentation was 3 words, right? Seamless experience, cashless economy, and paperless government. So that's the future that we see.
Anyone else if they want to comment on it?
I think I would agree with cashless, though, is an agenda which we are also actively driving, because we really believe technology can help build trust, which can bring transparency. And I think some of the challenges we as a country face when it comes to taxation, I think this technology and going cashless is really the way forward. But I mean, ultimately, digitization, it's an equalizer. When we talk about the urban-rural gap, we talk about the AI gap, we talk about the digital gap. I think we really need to see how intelligently we can, using human intelligence, how can we maneuver these machines to help serve us better. I think that's really what the ambition should be.
Okay, thank you.
So I think Akif Saab has mentioned where we want to go, right? Maybe one advice is to manage the knowledge over the journey that we are going through that target. It's very important that we build and we have more forum of discussion about the AI, national, provincial discussion around this. There are a lot of learning from peers, so we need to make this happen, and this is one way to break the silos that we are having this. This is the only advice that we can give from ourselves.
I would like to say that with the advent of AI, we have a huge opportunity. And initiatives like the one this one PBS has taken, these provide us with a platform to exchange different ideas. And they bring people from all walks of life. So we need to have more initiatives like that. And as a nation, we should take the opportunity that AI and its relevant technologies are presenting us, rather than being scared of them and getting too much into the academic debates of them. We should do more in these things. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we are already we have already encroached into the time we set aside for questions from the participants. I would like anybody who would like to ask a question, please, if someone can extend a mic.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, and thank you very much, Dr. Akif, private sector, international donor agencies, and the academia. Would like to ask very simple 2 things from all of the panel members. I'm just talking about from the data, technology, digitization, and artificial intelligence architecture of Pakistan. From that point of view, I'm asking question. We have been talking about evidence-based planning, programming, and policy making, and data-driven informed decision making. Now, what I have heard from all these panelists, that there are major challenge which we are facing as a public policy student. We have been facing major challenge. There is a availability of data, there is a visibility of data, but there is a big lack in usability and converting this data usability, using this data into policy and action. In last few years, Government of Pakistan has been asked by the World Economic Forum and IMF that do you have results framework of Pakistan? Results framework, do you have results framework of Pakistan? So at present in almost 78 years, we have been covering only 3 or 4 sectors results. Health, education, water and sanitation, and at some extent, social protection. Why I'm talking about this results framework? Regular capturing of outcome-based results of investments which provincial governments, because they are dealing this social sectors investments, federation is not doing that. So what is the answer of that? Reason is that outcome-based survey, at present there are 3 outcome-based surveys, Pakistan Social Living and Measurement Survey, Demographic Health Survey, and multiple indicator cluster survey. So this multiple indicator cluster survey, I'm part of UNICEF, and my colleague has talked about AI, artificial intelligence strategy of UNICEF. This is second area where UNICEF can build the capacity, human and institutional capacity of these provinces. Because earlier I was saying that only this Punjab is smart in terms of digitization, technology and all that. I have heard about KP is also following the same thing. KP is talking about digitization and talking about artificial intelligence and all that. So the major question, you know that when we are comparing ourselves globally, and we are mainly just UNICEF is working for the child rights and we are talking about the social sector, Human Development Index, Multidimensional Poverty Index, outcomes of social sector investment. Globally, people are asking from us, Bangladesh, India, they are investing less of these resources and getting more and more outcomes and results. How we would be helping? So UNICEF has the capacity to train this institutions, provincial level departments for this outcome-based and results-based. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think I would like Dr. Akif to answer this because it is more pertinent towards him. Like which areas have been targeted by the government and how we can answer the questions that are being asked to us.
So 2 things, sir. One, sir, Punjab is still smart because Waqas Saab is there. So we are in no comparison with Punjab. We are basically very good collaboration with Punjab in IT, and we are seeking guidance of each other and different digital interventions. This is the first perspective on Punjab, sir. Second, sir, what you're talking about is the in the right now in perspective of KP and government of federal government. So we and even in Punjab, so they have a enterprise architecture. This is the starting point. In simple words, it's a data architecture, right? How this data will be created, who will be the custodian, who will be managing the security, who will be having the access, and who will be using it for general operation, and who will be using for the policy making, right? So this is a broader architecture. So at the end of this broader architecture in the outcome part, so there is an open data ecosystem, which you are referring. So that part is very much, you can say, part of that data ecosystem. By the open data architecture, we mean the data will be proactively shared with the general public, researchers, and then they can do the research and other things. So that's the open data is obviously, Punjab is obviously having their own portal, federal government is having their own portal. But since, as I said, we are very we are touchy about the data. I will say the word touchy. But we are in it's not about the IT department. We don't own any data. It's a Punjab IT board or a KP IT board. It's the department that own the data, and they're very sensitive about the data sharing. But I think as the government of KP, we have an open data strategy in which we're very clearly mentioned that we'll be sharing all of the data, non-sensitive data, publicly for the research purpose.
We can have at least one more question. Sir, please.
Thank you. Great meeting with everybody, listening to you guys. I think, so it's good that all of us are somewhere on the journey, along the journey, on data governance, data sharing. The issue is not technology. The issue is the silos that exist here. So how are we going to overcome that? I think that's going to take lots of effort, more like a man on the moon resolve. So I think we need to do that, somehow find that courage, pass on those directives in provinces at the federal level. It's bound to happen. If we don't comply, we're just going to be left further behind, right? So that's the key challenge. It's not the technology, it's not availability. We've worked very closely with private sector, with companies, tech companies that offer services globally from within Pakistan. So there's lots of talent. I don't think the tech part is there. It's really the resolve part that needs to come in. I just had a comment there.
Sir, मैं थोड़ा सा इस पे respond कर दूं आपको. In government, when we are talking about the impact of any digital transformation or the success of any digital transformation initiative in government, so there is three things only which make any intervention successful in digitization. The one is well. The second is well, and the third one is well. There is there's no lack of finances with any government. There's no lack of technology experts with anything. So it's what Vakar Saab saying is a change management that we have to adopt. That I'll give you my example. It took me 3 years to realize the government of KP that open government is a good thing, right? So it's a change in the mindset that you put into the executives that this is a good thing. So obviously change management is one of the very, very important element at the moment. But the good thing is it's young people are coming, so they are by default very adaptive to the, by young mean, I still mean Gonal Saab is still young, okay?
Okay. We are already late by 4 minutes. So if you can ask a quick question.
Oh, okay. So we discussed earlier that data sharing is an issue. To get our data, we have to open so many locks to reach there and get our data and analyze it and utilize it. But on the other side, if you see that there are a lot of data sources available in the market. So if we, and those data sources, their authenticity, quality, integrity is also sometimes question mark, because that sometimes those are not followed over there. So if we have this agentic AI and it's open, we give a command and it collects the data, it analyzes and share with us. So what will be the implication if those open data sources available in the markets, in the domains, how it will affect if we are getting those results from these open agentic AI? Thank you. Any one of you can answer this. Thank you.
Please.
Thank you for that question. I'll try to explain it from an AI perspective, right? Having data access is one thing. What you want to build with that thing is another thing. The problem with the future of AI and agentic AI is we, the people who are working with AI, we are also not sure about the limits of where this technology is going to end up with. That is why it is very, very important that we, the AI researchers, are very careful about the kind of data that we apply to it and the amount of learning that we allow it, because obviously it is going to, I'll just give you, you can just search this up. Google has set up, they have a project Zero which looks at zero-day exploits, and it's a network security issue, but recently they came up with an AI-based solution of finding these exploits. And it found an exploit that nobody else had found at that point. That is a very dangerous game to play. So we have to be careful as far as where this technology will end up. Right now, nobody can be very certain about that. But that's a very good question and a very useful thought to think for all of us when we apply AI anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for very interesting questions from the audience as well. I would like to thank all the panel members for some very amazing comments, some very in-depth discussion about the questions that were asked, and to establish the baselines wherever and whenever we ask you. So thank you for your time and your worthy comments. I would like to close this discussion with just one simple comment. I think like people were, some of the people were afraid with the technology evolution when industry came, and they evolved the whole horizon of the way we live our daily lives. And I think now another revolution is happening right in front of our eyes, which is the digital revolution, where basically AI and machine learning and big data is reshaping the world once again. We need to stay abreast with this technology evolution. We need to work very hard to become the forerunners. So the idea that we get out of this whole discussion is that even if we lagged in the past few years, I think this is the time, this is the best time to start doing what we want to do and to plan it ahead, develop the policies, bring in some good human resource in that for implementing those policies, and get the good work done so that it secures our future. So with these comments, I would like to close this panel discussion. Thank you very much for being a very good audience and listening our discussion with lots of thank you.
Thank you all the panelists. Now I would request our honorable member, Janaab Mohammad Sarwar Gonzal Sahab, to kindly come on the stage and distribute some souvenir to the for a token of thanks and appreciation. Welcome, sir. First of all, I would request Dr. Akif to kindly get your shield, sir. Yeah, adjust करो. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I would request Ma'am Fatima Akhtar to kindly receive your souvenir. Thank you. Now I would request Dr. Attila to come kindly. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Now, Dr. Ashraf Mahbub. Dr. Hassan Mujtaba from FAST. Thank you, Dr. Sahab. Thank you. Now, at the last, I would request Dr. Sayyid Jawad Hussain kindly, well organized. Thank you, sir. Thank you. No, all the participants have a cup of tea at the back, and the panelists would request to kindly come to the coffee shop